I'm not here to alienate anyone. In fact, I'd like to unite us all. But we have got to face the facts that we are in a very tricky situation, although that may change now that Trump is back in the White House and he's making moves pretty quick. New York Mayor Eric Adams has already said that he'll no longer be providing food vouchers for illegal migrants, which is something that Keir Starmer could and should be taken on board. We've had political prisoners. We've had people sent to jail for shouting at police horses and for posting hurty words on X and Facebook. Peter Lynch, rest in peace, Peter Lynch. He was sent to jail for raising his voice in the street, saying that he was concerned about his children and his grandchildren. He was sent to jail. And did you notice how quick he went to jail? There wasn't a bail period or a big long trial. He pled guilty for something he probably never did. He was advised to plead guilty. I'd imagine he had the fear of God put in him. If you don't plead guilty, your sentence could be this big. As opposed to saying, actually, let me get you some legal advice. If you plead not guilty, you haven't actually done anything wrong that's against the law. And the chances are it'll get thrown out of court. But instead he got thrown in jail. And then what happened to Peter Lynch? The pressure and the strain and the panic of being in jail was too much to bear. And he ended his own life. And we've also had a farmer do the exact same thing since Labour brought in the inheritance tax on the farmers. He's now gunning for the farmers. No farmers, no food, no future. Fact. Things need to change. The men with the callous hands, the farmer types, the bricklayers, the scaffolders, the fighting men, the patriots, the working class, the very core of the country that are currently being ignored. Now, let's hope that Trump's victory rubs off on some of the political leaders we have here in the UK. It's not going to rub off on Starmer. He's already failed to apologise for David Lammy's misdemeanour, accusing Donald Trump publicly on X that he's a neo-Nazi supporting lunatic. That's not going to be great for foreign relations. And if they think for 1 second that they'll be working together harmoniously, well, they're surely mistaken. I see David Lammy made a statement that he looks forward to working with Donald Trump. Newsflash, you'll be working for Donald Trump. He'll be putting enormous pressure on the Labour Party because, sadly, the Conservatives just aren't strong enough to do so. They're different cheeks of the same arse. Same circus, different clown. And they're to blame for the mess we're in now. Starmer has just amplified it. So things have got to change. And I'm hoping that Trump's stance is going to be so contagious that people think this is the way to do it. This is how you win the hearts and minds of the British public. Get the patriots back on board. Farage, you're almost there, but you're not. You're still coming across as though you're part of the elite. I was in Trafalgar Square where 100,000 people were told to vote for you, and then you dismissed them. You've even made statements about people with tattoos. I mean, you can't have it both ways, Mr. Farage. You can't sit outside a pub with a pint of lager and a fag in your hand, pretending you're one of the people, but then denounce the people when it suits you because you're still riddled with political snobbery. Now, I would love for Farage to turn the corner and really become one of the men for the people and serve the people. But as it stands, political snobbery within the Commons is a virus. It's a wretched illness that they all seem to have. Let's start remembering the people that matter, the people that count, the people that lay the bricks, the people that build the foundations of the country. And as we're on the subject of patriots, let's touch base on Tommy Robinson, who's recently been jailed for disobedience, contempt of court, by his own admission. He went against the judge's request and he published a documentary that he was asked not to publish. I was in the viewing gallery watching the whole trial. So when the mainstream media report their lies that Tommy went to jail for misinformation, simply wasn't the case. I was there. Not once was it said that misinformation was published. It was quite clearly said that you was asked not to publish that documentary, and you did, and therefore you're going to jail, which he was prepared to do because the truth was more important to him than suppressing it. Which brings me on to Elon Musk. Thank God he bought X to give a platform to independent journalists that really want to know the truth, that fight for the right for freedom and freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom for you to receive the truth and a balanced argument so you can make up your mind without being indoctrinated by the mainstream media. And you'll never win with people that subscribe to the mainstream media. You'll never make sense of their mindset because they're so heavily indoctrinated, there's just no getting through to them. And not only will the mainstream media lie to you, they'll roll you up and get you into a frenzy. The Southport murderer who killed those innocent, beautiful children, he wasn't quite the Welsh rugby-playing lad that they portrayed. He was second-generation Rwandan that was downloading Al-Qaeda terrorist manuals. That was kept secret. So all the people that are in prison now for making that exact assumption, Starmer, what are you going to do? Are you going to release these men and send them back to their families for Christmas? Or are you going to keep them hostage in a jail cell for telling the truth and being concerned about the truth and rightly scared for the truth and their future? What are you going to do? Are you going to do the right thing? I seriously doubt it, because you are looking for an opportunity to attack and punish anybody that goes against your word and your will and the direction that you want to take this country and your globalist agenda. And when you've got people in the country that are already capable of despicable crimes like that, of the mass murder of children, why on earth would you want to be importing more people that you know nothing about that could quite possibly and potentially be as dangerous as the people that we've already got in the UK? It's not racist to reject the idea of having unfettered migrants storming and invading the country. It makes perfect sense. It keeps the country safe. It keeps the future safe of our children and their children. And rather than spending £500 million on migrant process centres for the next 8 years, you need a mass deportation. Anyone that's not got paperwork, anyone that cannot prove who they are, where they're from, what they're doing here, what their intentions are, how they're going to coexist, how they're going to boost the economy, how they're going to help society, need to be deported immediately. And that doesn't make you a bad person, a racist, a bigot, a horrible, evil swine. It makes you somebody that is concerned of national safety. Which leads me to the loony left. Though I may seem triggered right now, I do find their rhetoric amusing and ridiculous. And the sooner we start laughing at them, the better, because the tables have now turned, thanks to Trump getting back in the White House. And I hope Trump's cheerleading for patriots rubs off on the UK. Words like far right and racist, they've lost their flavour. They're meaningless. They don't matter. They don't count. No one cares. I would be more concerned if somebody accused me of being far left. They are the reason for the demise of the country. They are the dangerous ones. The ideology they subscribe to is utter lunacy. Suppressing freedom of speech is absurd. Thank you, Elon Musk, for letting people speak freely on X. Because what do you think people turn to when they can no longer speak freely? They can't express themselves verbally through dialogue. They turn to violence. Is that what we want? No, we don't. We want peace, we want harmony, we want love, and we want unity. And we want that with everybody. With every race, with every religion, with every culture. But we've all got to be on the same page, and we've all got to be filled with one thing, one common thing, and that is love. For each other, for the place we reside, and for the future. And I say something else that needs to stop. What about isms? Well, what about this? Well, what about that? What about it? You're comparing crimes as if one's okay. You sound like an imbecile. Newsflash. Grooming gang gets sent to jail for 101 years, and there's mugshots of 25 Asian men that have all collectively ganged together and abused a young child. And that's published, and people are absolutely outraged by it. And they express their outrage in the comments section, for example. And then you get the bloke that comes in with, well, what about Frank from Brooklyn Road in Kent. He was found with indecent images of children on his hard drive. Well, he's a scumbag too. But it doesn't excuse the crime that's been committed, that's being published and spoke about at the time. Don't try and be so woke. Ridiculous behaviour. And talking of woke, let's see if Trump tolerates men putting on a wig and lipstick and high heels, walking into the ladies' changing rooms and into the women's toilets and flopping out their cocks and taking a piss. Let's see if he tolerates that. I don't think so. And that needs to transport into the UK and embed itself in the mindset of the broke, woke community. Anyway, what was meant to be a harmonious message to unite us all has turned into a bit of a rant. But whilst I'm on the subject of men infiltrating women, stay away from their sports. There's enough things you can do without invading more women's spaces. And if you're swimming against women, running against women, or boxing against women, your set of testicles gives you a distinct advantage. So stop it. If you're not following me on Instagram or X, I forgive you. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Good health. And remember, I fucking love you.